Hello jeweler, and welcome to the final video on mindset training. In this video we're simply going to get into how is it that you hack your brain to work for your benefit in order to bring about the changes in who you are that we want and are looking to see. In the words of our last video, this is called self-alchemy, and I'm going to teach you just how it is that the most successful people in the world and most successful ones that I know are rigging themselves to create lives that they want. You know, I used to think that people got rich because they were lucky, or it was who they knew, or if they had a huge lucky break or whatever. Then I began to meet people that I wanted to be like, people who I considered to be truly wealthy people. And I found that it wasn't just that they were rich versions of me. They were a completely different breed of person that I had never encountered before. And there were topics that they would discuss that I thought it was rude to talk about, like money or failure. They would act differently and hold themselves to different standards than anyone else that I knew. And it was fascinating to watch. It was like the wealthier they were, the more different they became in their thinking about themselves. To them, the things that I thought were hard and unpredictable, like success and money and wealth, were easy. They were understandable. There was no confusion. If you wanted it, it was as simple as reaching out and grabbing it. And the more I talked to them, the more I read, the more I read, the more I realized that in fact they had found a way to rig the system in order to get rich and reach their goals. And today I'm going to teach you how to rig the system like I saw them doing. So I'll teach you how they use loaded dice in life to ensure that they are always getting the positive outcomes that they're looking for. And it really only involves two small concepts, which I'll dive into, and then we'll contextualize these systems for your own life so you can start to rig the system for your own success as well. These two concepts that we're going to dive into are synchronicity and confirmation bias. Have you ever been interested in a car or in really anything at all, and all of a sudden you start to see that car or that item everywhere? It seems like everyone is talking about it, or they are just all around you. This is really common when you actually buy a car too. It's like you never saw them before and now they happen to be everywhere. Or when a person gets married, doesn't it seem like everyone else just seems to get married too? Or when you begin to start your business, it's like everyone all of a sudden decided to start their own businesses too. What's happening is a classic concept and phenomenon called synchronicity. So the idea behind it is that once we get interested in one thing, our minds all of a sudden begin to recognize examples of the same thing where we had never recognized them before. Now, at first glance, these things just seem like coincidences, and it looks like there truly are just a ton of the same things happening over and over again. However, this is such a common phenomena that we've come to realize that something else is actually happening. You learn one thing, and then you see it everywhere around you. But this isn't happening because there really are more examples of that thing happening than before. Rather, what's happening is that your mind is now able to recognize things which you used to be blind to. In my own life, this began happening when I learned that the way to make money was to solve other people's problems. So naturally, you have to go find problems, and you have to see them as opportunities for making money. All of a sudden, and even still, it's like everything looks like an opportunity to me. And when other people say, it looks like everything's been done already, or there are no more good opportunities for business ideas anymore, I'm just blown away because I literally have thousands of ideas of things which, if they were solved, would reap gigantic rewards. My brain is now hardwired to find things which will make me money. Things which are invisible to other people are now, to me, as clear as day. And the same thing will happen for you too. When you start to see opportunities this way, and you begin to see patterns happening before your eyes, you'll know that you're on the right path. Now I want to discuss something called confirmation bias. So confirmation bias is when you have a hypothesis about something and all of a sudden, everything else points to you being right. For example, have you ever met someone who has an opposing view to you politically, and you're just blown away by what they think? Because to you, it's as clear as day that what you believe is correct. Your friends all talk like you, Your social media feeds support what you say, and it's like everywhere you look, there are examples of your hypothesis being confirmed. What's really happening here is a phenomenon called confirmation bias. Put simply, your hypothesis affects your outcome. So, if you hypothesize that Trump is bad, you're going to be able to easily find tons of arguments that support your hypothesis, and then it will seem clear as day to you that he's bad. If you hypothesize that Trump is good, then you will also likewise be able to find tons and tons of examples which will prove to you that you are correct. Whatever you hypothesize, regardless of what it is, it will affect the outcomes that you get. What you go in believing will determine what you get out of what you hear, what you read, and what you find. In fact, two people might watch the exact same program and come out with completely different conclusions, such as is common with political debates, due to confirmation bias. You want something to be right, and that affects the things which you are able to see and pick up on. In fact, I'd love for you to try this for a second and just see if you can let go of your hypothesis about something that you believe, such as the moon landing being a conspiracy. Now, most people believe that the moon landing was not a conspiracy. They believe it happened, there's no reason to think otherwise, etc. However, just to humor me and yourself, see if you're able to change your hypothesis about it. See if you can try and make yourself believe that, you know what, they might be right, and then go and see what people have to say. What's amazing about this is that if you truly allow your hypothesis to change to the moon landing was a conspiracy, and that's your hypothesis, your starting point, then you will begin to find patterns which to you look like undeniable facts, and they will support your hypothesis until you truly believe and begin to see the world through that lens. Seriously, just for fun, I did this, and it's actually pretty amazing what you find. Not everyone is totally crazy who believes this stuff. But this also hurts you personally too. For example, if you hypothesize that you are bad at sales, then you'll be able to look back at your life and into your future and find plenty of examples to support what you think. It'll be as clear as day to you. And this has nothing to do with the examples themselves. It simply has to do with your hypothesis. Your hypothesis about being bad at sales will set in stone your belief about it based on what you refer to as evidence. However, at the same time, if you start with the opposite hypothesis, that you're naturally good at sales, then you'll begin to look back through your mind and you'll begin to find other examples. You'll see different evidence which will point to a strong belief that, yes, I am in fact naturally good at sales. And the things that say otherwise will seem to you like flukes or one-offs. Before you set a hypothesis that was negative, and because of that you assumed you could continue to be bad at it, and when you looked into your future, all you would see is negative feedback saying you're bad at sales. What ends up happening is because of that hypothesis, you don't have as much confidence and you won't take massive action to see yourself succeed at sales. Because of that, you'll continue to find more and more excuses for how you're bad at sales and literally create an outcome that is based on not fact, but your hypothesis. But try again with a positive hypothesis. This time, you set a positive hypothesis. You think you're going to be amazing at it, and you're going to give it all that you've got, even though your current situation is that you're bad at it. Then the action is going all out with everything that you have. Because you believe that you can do it, because you believe it's possible, then you're going to just go all out and give it all you've got. Because that's what your hypothesis was. Then your new situation, after you've gone all out and given it all you've got, your new situation has confirmed that I was right. I am, in fact, amazing at sales. And this is what happens. This is how reality happens to everyone. This is what happens when you set a positive hypothesis about the future. Then you'll quite often set a positive hypothesis about action, that you should take a lot of action. And then when you do take a lot of action, you're exponentially more likely to experience a positive outcome that reinforces your hypothesis. Then what happens is you experience feedback. The feedback is a reinforced belief that I was amazing at sales. I was right. I thought I was going to be amazing at sales, and then I was. Whoa, that's amazing. Whatever I say to myself is likely to be true now. You start to build up this feedback, and this loop begins to occur. And each time you start having this loop go around and around and around and around, and you hypothesize that you're going to be amazing at something, and then you take action, and then you experience it, and you start getting better and better and better and better and better. My hypothesis was that I was going to master sales and become dangerous on the phone. That affected my reality and made me exponentially more likely to be amazing at sales. My hypothesis affected my outcome. The same thing happened with marketing jewelry. I hypothesized that I would be fantastic at marketing jewelry for my family's store. Because of that, I was confident and hypothesized that I'd need to take massive action. Through that massive action, I got results and feedback which says, wow, I am in fact good at this, and I'm better than even most of the other jewelry marketers that I know of. And the loop kept going around and around, confirming the hypothesis. This works in every arena of life. For example, I believe that I have a natural, amazing proclivity to learn languages as well as is humanly possible. I really believe that. Because of that, when I began learning German, I would assume that even when I hit a bump, it would naturally be overcome by my natural, God-given abilities. Soon, I was skipping levels, progressing faster than everyone I met, and I became fluent faster than anyone else on my team had ever become. My hypothesis was that I was amazing at languages. That propelled me to try harder to see that outcome realized, and I never got discouraged by challenges. And within 1 month, I was conversational, and within 8 months, I had passed what's called a C1 exam, which, if you've learned a language on the European system before, you'll know means I'm basically just below the native speaker level, which I never desired to get to. Your hypothesis affects your outcome. Start with a strong hypothesis. Then your bias for confirmation will point your life in a direction that confirms that belief. You'll begin to see things as clear as day, as though it's a fact of life that you're successful. And due to synchronicity, you'll start to see everywhere that, yeah, I'm pretty much successful every single time I try this. This brain hacking is what I learned through becoming friends with highly, highly successful people. They rig the system of their minds to work in ways that most people's minds don't work. Most people hypothesize that they won't be successful, and then they see evidence everywhere for it. So they keep doing what they've always done, and they stay the way they've always been. Successful individuals believe it's just a part of who they are to be successful. There's no luck about it. It's just what they assume will happen, and they take massive action because they're confident that it will pay off. And when something doesn't work out, it's no big deal. They just brush it off as a fluke and keep working hard because their success is right around the corner. Approach every day like this, and you'll see massive change happen. It's not just about positive thinking. It's about taking that and turning it into massive action and getting feedback and improving. In doing so, you literally solidify your future as a successful person because you are already acting as a successful person acts. Step into your reality and take hold of what's before you. I've attached a daily action planner, which I've personally used for years now. If you want this to be concrete, simply follow the steps and the prompts and answer the questions daily, and you'll see amazing results follow. Thank you so much for taking the time to invest in your own mind. It's been a pleasure laying a foundation for you, helping you develop your success mechanism, and now I look forward to teaching you about how to market your jewelry business better than you've ever imagined. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.